I mean, we're gonna be doing your guys' level ups as well, so that's what we're gonna start with. We're gonna do that right away. So, let me pull up the. Let's go with. You know what?
Sorry.
You alright?
I've got to move my arm is falling asleep.
Okay. We're gonna start with Bucky. This is the big one. This is like you need to figure out how the heck, and also because Javen sounds like you're eating, so I'll give you time to do that.
Oh, sorry. Hang on.
No, you're good. I know how it is when it's like, God, I gotta eat, but I got a session.
Yeah, literally, I just got home like 5 minutes ago.
All right. So now, before we start the role play, Geo, you were gonna go Rune Knight, correct?
That was the idea.
Okay. All right. So you find yourself in, let's see, you took reading runes, right?
Yes.
You are starting a new subject in rune reading. Up until now, it's been basic kind of like human-based runes, some uh, dwarven-based runes, but now they're introducing giant runes, which those are. You good? Did you just break yourself? No, you're good. Okay. Um, those are old runes. Those have to do with like primordial like energies that giants kind of came around with the creation of these energies. Um, so you're getting that's how you're introduced to those giant runes themselves. How would Bucky feel about seeing these new kinds of things? Because it's like they're what was his name? Lawrence Hawk. That Professor Lawrence Hawk kind of introduces them as like they were a lot of them. What we know is from not uh, actual paper script or anything written down, but from artifacts collected by adventurers from giants themselves. They didn't write them down as a collection of history, but more as like their history was collected on their like weapons themselves. It was an entire fighting system.
So, after the events of my semester project had gone
Mm-hmm.
horribly awry, um, Bucky has actually abandoned his father's journal. He has put it somewhere in his room where it is not on his person the whole time, and has started basically reading every textbook that was given to him for his classes from the very beginning. Because now Bucky's trying to read the information from a different standpoint, as not from a standpoint of how can I be like my father, but how can I grow stronger? How can I be a better person? Look,
Following yeah, following the teachings of yes.
that
Very good.
was what I was given.
Yep.
So looking at the runes, Bucky takes a little. I would say he takes to it kind of the same way that he's taking to everything, where it's this kind of hard to describe. It he doesn't have a particular focus on the runes to begin with. He's not looking at the runes thinking this is my way to be a better person. But once he gets to the giant runes, the runes of the giants, primordial runes. And he specifically looks at the glyph formation of the flame rune. That's when Bucky kind of looks at his greatsword, looks at his pike, and wonders out loud. Maybe it's in the writing. And he will attempt, with the DM's permission, he will attempt to write his first primordial giant rune on his greatsword.
Right. Let me see. What kind of... Tell you what, because you have the book there, you can actually see the guide. Like, you have a guide there with you, and you can follow the instructions as written. So how are you writing it on your sword?
So the book says that in order to write the glyph correctly, it requires a special sort of ink. The problem is the ink doesn't stick to the sword very well. So what Bucky actually does instead is he kind of gets frustrated because he tries it a few times. He makes the circle and tries to write the glyph really quickly, but it just ends up becoming a smear. So what he does instead, out of pure desperation, he sticks his index finger in his beak and bites just enough of it just to get a little bit of blood. And squeezes his finger over his ink dye. Puts his pen in it and writes the rune in his own blood on his sword.
Okay. You... Okay. Yeah, you're following the guide, and you get... I was not expecting this, but okay. Uh, you follow the guide as far as how to write it, and you manage to write it in your blood. You feel kind of this something old, like just heavy, like looming over you as you're writing it. There's just this energy just kind of emanating from your blood. Like, it's not from you, but it's like from your blood as you write it. And you can just feel it. And as soon as you as soon as you finish the glyph itself, it kind of sizzles and burns and kind of smokes for some reason. And then there's this, just for a moment, a slight glow, and then it dissipates, and there's kind of like a charcoal burn onto your sword, and you can feel that the rune itself has got some magic in it.
So the rune that Bucky wrote was the flame rune, that makes his attacks magical and releases the flaming shackles. I would assume that as the rune lights up, the sword itself begins to burn. It begins to glow a bright orange, almost as if it is unbelievably hot. Bucky kind of looks at the sword, waves it around a little bit to see if the weight has changed, and nothing has. Bucky looks at the glyph that he wrote. This will be my power. This is how I'll separate myself. He does a very quick spin, sheathes it, and begins writing his second rune, making sure to use his own blood to write the rune.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what is the second rune you're writing?
That would be the cloud rune. I just realized I didn't have the internet up this whole time. They were staring at a blank screen. Whoopsies. Um, sorry.
That's fine.
Let me make sure I'm saying this one correctly. Yes, the cloud rune. Um, this one he would actually um, write the rune on a gauntlet that he wears. Um, this one would produce more of a fog than a smoke. It's not nearly as destructive, but it is deceiving. It is very mysterious in its look.
Yeah, it kind of, as you finish writing it, begins to sizzle and steam and create kind of this swirling fog around it, and it almost seems like once it's done doing that, that it's gone. But you feel that same primordial pressure that you felt when you wrote the flame one is still on this gauntlet. It just can't be seen. So yeah, you have your two runes and a unorthodox method of writing them. Uh, but yeah, there you go. Bucky is now a rune knight.
Clap, 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 clap.
Yay. Um, who would like to go next? Javen, are you done eating?
I'm still eating, but I can go.
I mean, if you want to eat, if you want to finish eating, that's fine. I can do K.
No, I'm slowing down. I had like two big pieces of salmon, a big wad of rice, and then a pile of beans. I've started working out again, actually. So I'm
Nice.
now loading up on carbs and such. Um, cool. Yeah, I can go if you want me to.
Okay. Um, for yours, let's see, because we discussed this and um, I'm trying to think. So you get after exams, you are probably not feeling great about yourself.
Yeah, he's there's been a lot there's been a lot that's been fucked up in his life so far, and it's only getting worse, it seems.
Mm-hmm. You are in your room. What do you like? This is the night after the exams.
Mm,
What's on Bernard's mind?
I feel like, hmm, Bernard would make sure that he was alone because he knows he shares room with Alexei, but
Mm-hmm.
if at all possible, he would go in after the exams, throw all of his stuff off to the side, just kind of haphazardly. Um, he would then. You said it's the night after the exams.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, Bernard would go for a fly, like far away from anyone, like maybe even go to a spot that he has never been to before that just looks remote.
Okay. Let's see. Pull up the map of the bit of Strixhaven here. There's like, so the main campus is kind of crowded because they have to have so many kids packed into this one smaller area, but there's kind of areas along the edge where it's just like, if you need to get away, there's really not going to be a lot of people venturing out this far. So you find kind of a spot that's between two walkways that head to two different colleges, and it's almost to the edge of the campus itself, the main campus. But there's no one around, and there is some light around, but it's not a whole heck of a lot. But then you can still see a whole lot of stars from where you are.
Bernard just feels lost. Like a person that he looked up to and respected struck him for seemingly no reason. He understands that she had a mission to do, but that doesn't go off of any code of honor whatsoever, and her being a martial person kind of upsets him. The fact that I think there's like hints of like jealousy almost in him. There's a lot going on in his head right now, and with failing the exams, it's almost just like yeah, this may as well fucking happen. Yeah, I think he just sits there. I think I honestly, like, even going to Afara for all of his answers previously, I think honestly that Bernard just sits there, just for a while, just to kind of collect his thoughts, occasionally scream, but it comes out as like a hoot, but like one of those like deep bellowy ones.
One of those that would sound very creepy in the distance.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's just kind of like no shield, no sword. Like he has nothing on his person whatsoever. He is just in a tree or on top of a building, because I don't really know where exactly he would be, but just out of eye shot from anyone.
Gotcha.
Anyone at all.
You kind of isolate yourself, and you get like during one of your screams, you're just kind of like pacing back and forth, and you manage to turn around, and you see the campus all lit up at night. It's not as bright as it could be because it's a little late. People are starting to actually go to bed after their exams, finally get some sleep. But there's almost kind of a calming presence, not in like a supernatural sense, but like the fact that you are out this far and able to see the campus from a distance, it kind of puts things into a little bit different perspective. And as you're looking, you hear a voice to your left, just a calm voice. Just beautiful, isn't it?
Without looking, do I recognize the voice?
No. Well, roll me. What would this be? You can roll me a religion check.
That's cocked. 15.
15.
Yep.
You heard this voice before. Barely. It was barely a whisper then, but you recognize the voice. She just goes on. Keeping a distance can change one's point of view. That's why I like to stay away and let the people choose for themselves. Sometimes they need a guiding hand. They need a protector. Sometimes they need someone to help them see things from a different perspective. It's not easy path ahead for you. But if you are vigilant, I believe you can do it. I leave the choice to you. Do you look at all?
No, this whole time while this voice has been talking to me, I've just kind of been like, I imagine Bernard's in a tree,
Mm-hmm.
or on a roof, like somewhere high up to where he can kind of like still look at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This whole time, Bernard's just kind of been staring and watching the people who, at this distance, kind of look like ants. Just kind of walking around and living a very simple existence. Well, as simple as things can get in Strixhaven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You hear a small explosion as someone accidentally sends off the spell wrong.
To which Bernard would kind of just like tilt his head in that direction, and then go back and look at the people again. As this voice is just kind of talking, how am I to know who should be in the community? Who do I protect? Who do I guide?
That is something that comes with the skill that comes with time. But the people have a tendency to form their own thoughts. Now, stronger personalities tend to guide them, but when it comes down to it, the people always choose. And if you begin by surrounding yourself with people you trust. Let them and you be the example, and more people will join and follow.
Except for undead, they're not people.
Undead is a very complicated situation that, like, you can feel, like, if this was a um, actual conversation, you could feel this light chill just Hmm. No. I, she kind of gives that politician answer of like, if you say so. Um, but all I can tell you is that it is your choice.
And at that, Bernard kind of just like brings his. Well, I guess he couldn't really do that. He would just kind of like go to a spot on the tree that has like a branch to sit on and a little branch that comes up to about his chest, and just kind of put his arms up, rest his chin on like his crossed like wrists, and just kind of just sit in silence for some more. And he'll remain like that until about 1:30 or 2 in the morning, and then he'd go back to his dorm.
Um. Hmm. Doesn't really give an answer at all, or
Not now.
bam. Oh, sorry. Our dog is gassy tonight.
Oh my.
Oh, oh. All right. Yeah, you get back, and your shield and your sword seem to kind of have this weird shimmer to it. Um, essentially, what this is you haven't actually taken the oath, but you have the powers right now. I'll like if you want to actually do a physical, like a speak an oath for it, um, and when you're ready, you can honestly create your own oath to Afara.
Okay. Uh, yeah, yeah, that works. Cause yeah, right now, I'll say Bernard has the capacity to do it. He just can't until he takes that first step. Which right now, after all of what has just happened, he is way not ready to do.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. All right.
Kid's got a lot on his mind, you know.
Yeah.
And the last thing you need to do when you have a lot on your mind is making a big life decision.
Yeah. It'd be nice if the people would actually take that in consideration when they make them make certain future. You know what? That's neither here or there. But hey, I'm not bitter about my college experience. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, Kai,
Just
did
it's
you level up?
another reason why I do not want
Wait.
to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
1 second to write down this one liner.
Oh, you add to your vicious mockery.
Yes.
Kate's been starting to keep a vicious mockery journal, where if like she comes with if she finds or comes up with any insults, a good insult, she's gonna write it down and keep it for later.
You're lucky. Breathing is involuntary.
Congratulations.
Do you have you're about as sharp as a marble?
That was one of the other ones that I had stumbled across. I'm like, oh yes.
I think the best one I've heard so far is, I sincerely hope you will find someone who will mourn you when you're gone.
That
Now see,
oh,
now see, now see. Yeah, that's a pre-fight like intimidation thing. We're
not a bardic vicious mockery
you're
kind of.
just you're just
My
doing
two
zingers
favorite
over
ones
here.
that I've got at the moment are you've only got 2 brain cells and they are fighting for 3rd place. And then someone could get hurt jumping from your ego to your IQ.
All right.
Okay, but
Anyway, so your level up is essentially you get. Let's see, how many?
oh, I forgot I had this pen.
Sorry. You get second level spells.
Yes.
All right. So you and Leslie are finally doing your spell session.
Slightly better.
Your study session for spells.
Yes.
And as per her request, you are in her room, so that you're not dealing with
somebody's angry sister.
Yeah, angsty, angry, just.
I really need to have a conversation with her.
She's not like disruptive, but she's. So anyway, yeah, you're sitting in Leslie's room. She has elected to begin, like at the same time as studying. She's just kind of practicing her. Good.
Yeah.
Practicing her cello.
Study and practice at the same time.
Oh, it actually helps me focus a lot better if like it tunes out other things, and I'm like I can see things a lot better if I just hear the.
Do you have synesthesia?
I don't know what is that.
When you hear things, then you're able to like see things. Like your senses are mixed and intertwined.
Maybe, I guess. I mean, I kind
Fun
of.
Fun fact. Those aren't like the only two ones. You can also any of the 5 or 6 or many senses can be directly correlated with each other with if you have a synesthesia.
Yes. I'm aware, but just the way she was describing, it was like.
I mean, maybe, I guess that sounds about right. I've never thought about it. It was just something that I could do.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I dabble with music, but that's more Andraste's thing.
Yeah, she's. You two are a lot different.
Yeah.
Like I know she's really out there, and she usually like in to be honest, in show band she's a lot like trying to get attention, if that makes sense. Is that what she's?
Yeah, that's valid. I mean, I think we both try to get attention in our own way.
Okay.
So, well, I guess it depends on what depends on what kind of attention you're. Never mind.
What are we talking about now?
I'm just gonna study my spells and.
I figured something else out. One of the things I figured after I finally stopped hurting, I figured out that how the captain was getting like she was like she went like poof and poof.
Mm-hmm.
I figured out what she was doing. And it's honestly not that hard. It's probably try and figure it out if you want to. It's called Misty Step.
Oh.
I mean, I can't. But yeah, it's I don't I haven't been able to cast it, but I know what it is.
And just kind of teleporting. I have something similar, but I was kind of born with it. Like I didn't have to.
What?
I mean, I don't use it very often. I just being Faye, we can just kind of.
You just do the same. Then why don't you?
I like skipping.
Okay. I mean, I guess. But I mean, have you? Oh, oh, there's. Have you found? Have you cast your familiar yet?
I have not. I wonder where did I leave her? I should probably give me a second.
Why am I worried?
I mean, I'm there are times I forget where I leave my familiar, so I should probably.
You know, they just kind of poof.
I know, and that's why I've gotta.
You can just.
My brain is not remembering.
You can just.
Oh, I needed a second to like remember the things, so I can get them here. Yes. Just give me a second. I won't cast it very often because she followed me around everywhere back in my home realm.
I mean, that's what they do.
I know, but I crossed over and I completely forgot. Oh my gosh, I'm such a terrible. I'm a terrible person.
They just pop up where you are.
I know, but I have to cast like.
Yeah.
I know, and it's the thing is I've been so wrapped up with exams and so busy and.
Then just
researching.
Cast it.
I'm trying. Stop interrupting me. Goodness.
All right, I'll just sit here. I don't got anything else going on.
Just practice your cello.
I am. I'll practice my cello. She doesn't.
It's one of the. I just do. I cast Gus to blow her music papers. She's got to go pick those up, put them back in front of her.
No, that's honestly kind of petty.
It's playful.
Uh-huh.
It's just like a little, and they gotta go fight. What just? Worry about you.
Fine. I'll wait right here. I'll get my papers.
That's what it takes 1 hour to cast.
Do you want like something to focus on? I mean, I can.
Well, it's like I'm.
Do you need help setting up the ritual? Because I can. You know what? Here, how about this? Let's race. See who can bring their familiar back.
She gets very competitive and grabs her crystal.
You see Leslie get up and go grab her kind of orb staff.
I just close my eyes and just trying to focus. Remembering the last place that I saw her, what she looks like, and just like kind of willing her on my shoulder.
You guys kind of like are kind of racing, quote unquote, wizard racing. by seeing who could summon their familiar the fastest.
Yes.
Make an Arcana check for me.
Open. Box. Okay, Banner, I'm gonna need you to not move. Damn it. Hold on. That did not work. So I picked it up to see what it was. I couldn't see it, and then it shifted. And it's a 9.
She rolled a nat 20.
Oh, fuck you.
You finish your ritual, and you manage to summon your familiar. Would you like to describe your familiar?
So, I have this very little, pretty small blue jay. It's got the... Oh, I guess it's a male blue jay. Technicalities. Which is very, very vibrant blue feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And
you do realize it's a magic being and you could be any other color.
You know what? I do, but
anyway,
maybe they've communicated with me that they don't wish to identify as male, that they wish to identify as female.
There you go. You got a trans blue jay. Anyway.
And just kind of nestles into my neck and just kind of does like a little nip at my ear. And I get it to tap into my finger and give some pets.
Some pets.
Some pets.
That's adorable. What's her name? What's her name?
From the people over Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Sparkles.
I'm trying not to laugh. Okay. Banner.
Making fun of Sparkles. That's what happens.
But you realize that when you finished casting the ritual, Leslie was just sitting there watching.
Why are you watching me?
Because I was done. Waiting for you to finish.
Apparently I'm a failure. Why couldn't I have that roll?
Because that's not how the dice work. I was just I finished. I didn't want to say anything. I guess
No, wait. Where's your familiar?
She's probably up. I mean, I summoned her and she went out and got. She's eating. I mean, she doesn't need to eat, but she likes to chase the bugs around.
The cat.
No, I hear.
Is it a lizard? Please tell me it's a lizard.
It's not a lizard, actually, and it's not a cat.
Is it a spider?
Please don't freak out. A lot of people freak out, and because not a lot of you hear her kind of go to the window and just like do this like little clicking with her tongue, and then you hear like outside just this and a small little as fluttering a black, like swirling, not swirling, but like fluttering thing just kind of flies in and just like grabs onto her arm, swings up, and then swings down, and is just dangling there, wings out, just fleshy, leathery wings, and then there's like as a bat.
So cute.
Is kind of a gray furred, pink winged bat. And it's I mean, it's the is it I nobody's really called her cute because she's like everyone's just like, oh, bat, oh my gosh, what the heck, what's
Bats are amazing though,
right? They like they're really good on pest control, and their hearing is like extremely sensitive, and like they can anyway, yeah, like I guess her name's Batty. Yeah, like it's not a real bat, Javen. Familiar.
I was gonna say rabies too. The thing.
Fair. No, she keeps you clean. Yeah, like her name's Batty. It's short for Beatrice. It was my grandmother's name.
Bad.
Well, I mean, like when I was younger, I like it was a lot easier to just call her Batty than it was just to Beatrice.
It's valid. That's a fair point.
Yeah. So yeah, do you have any other spells?
So I'm kind of like, I don't like that. Like, I'm not super always protected. So I found this one. And
oh yeah, you were gonna teach me mage armor. And,
yes.
But I'm sorry, I interrupted. What was
I found this one, and it seems like it would be slightly helpful, at least if people get a little too close for comfort. And is she? It's like flipping through things. It's daggers. Cloud of daggers. So.
Wow, you're getting throwing knives.
Really throwing. They just kind of.
They appear, yeah.
They just kind of are here, and it hopefully discourages people from coming closer to me. It seems like it would be helpful.
I mean, in fights, yeah. In everyday stuff, I mean, hopefully we don't get into too many more fights, right?
I mean, hopefully, but at the rate that I'm going, I have a feeling that there are going to be more.
How many fights have you been in this year so far? Because I was just in, well, 2, because I went in after you at the bar, and then I helped you with I got hit so hard by the captain. And
well, I don't think that was meant to be a fight. I don't think that was fully supposed to be the point, but I don't know. I'm not in the class.
I dropped it. I really didn't. I couldn't look Captain Honnelly in the eyes after that.
That's fair. That is. Did you tell her, or did you just go to the guidance counselor?
I went to the guidance counselor.
What did you see her again? Like, what are you gonna say?
I don't know. maybe just do my best to never ever see her again. Honestly, if
No, that's again, that's fair.
so.
But
The harder part is going to be explaining to my parents why I dropped a class that they chose for me.
Well, at least your parents would probably care if you dropped a class. I don't think mine would care. What is...
So yeah, you and Leslie kind of take a day and study. You bond, kind of have a study date, and she kind of explains that yeah, her parents have been a little overbearing. They picked out her schedule except for musical expressionism, which is something they allowed her to choose.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else they chose for her. They've kind of got her future pretty much laid out for the most part. So she doesn't really always feel that she can voice her opinion a lot. And so being able to actually open up like this is helping. So yeah. Have a nice afternoon. All right. And yes, now you both have access to second level spells.
Yay! Second level.
Yep. So now comes the time, the awkward time that we're going to deal with parent-teacher conferences. So how about we do?
Ow! Sorry, I'm fine.
Okay. How about we deal with them the same order that we did? We did everything, the level ups. Bucky.
Yup.
You ready for your parent-teacher conference?
No, but do I have a choice?
Not really.
Well, then get started, DM.
Okay. So you are brought to a faculty office building, not Dapple Woods Manor, because that's just like 5 offices. This is a actual like.
Do we pass Staplewood Manor on the way?
Not really. No.
Okay. I was just curious.
No.
Bucky has flashbacks.
Yeah. No. We don't need that. Yeah. This is a. This is just kind of a generic hall with offices in it. That it's where most faculty members hold their smaller classes. And you get to the hallway. You are assigned to. What was her name? Sorry. It was the Owlin teacher who was. Mavinda Sharpbeak, the Owlin teacher that helped you out with your. She was the guidance counselor who helped out at the beginning of the year and gave you guys your schedules.
Okay.
So that is the name that you were given, and so you get to our office, and there's kind of right now there are just a bunch of chairs lining the hallways for like situations with like yours. You have a family who are going to be waiting individually for each parent to do their parent-teacher conference. Essentially, what you're going to do is the kids who are waiting will be out in the hall, while the one who is having the conference will be in the room with their parents and the counselor. So this was explained to you before you got here, and so you're probably walking up with Reggie since you're both roommates. But you get there, and it seems that you two are the first to, well, maybe not your parents right now, but you don't see Stacy at the moment. And to be honest, you can tell your parents aren't here because there isn't some sort of like procession of guards to like secure their arrival yet.
Also, the wind doesn't feel the same. When my dad enters a room, the wind blows way stronger.
Okay.
I'm just don't even. It's a joke, Ed. Don't worry about it.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. And so you sit down, and as you're kind of waiting for everyone to show up, you finally hear this familiar sound of like just the familiar sound of armor clanging up and down the hall, as like a procession of troops, soldiers, guards, what have you, would be just kind of going, just marching forward. And rounding the corner, entering the building is it's not a large procession, mostly because your father insists that he can protect himself. But it's still one of those like
there's like five guards maybe.
You're still the king, and we are still going to have backup just in case, because the guards are an insistence upon your mother. Like, she knows that sometimes your father can get in over his head.
Absolutely.
So, you see the guards around the corner, and then soon after, you see the familiar face of your father and your mother round the corner.
I stand up and I turn to face my entire body towards my mother first. I open up my wings. I bow. My entire head looks directly to the ground. It's good to see you again, Mom. I look up.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And then I look to my father, and I bow the same way. It is good to see you again, Father.
Your mom has a very soft look on her face of like, oh, thank you. It's, but kind of puzzled because this is not exactly the rambunctious son that came to Strixhaven, and so she's a little puzzled, but then your father immediately is just grabs you by the arm, pulls you in, is like, oh, none of that now. Come on, let's see it. Like, come here. Here.
And as he does, I immediately drop the formalities, and it's almost like we're wrestling while standing up. Mm-hmm. It's like, gotcha, headlock, you son of
a... No. Oh, look, there's counter on the skate.
No, God damn it. Come on. I tap.
What you gonna do? And you kind of go on to this for about probably a good minute before your mother just kind of does a quick just...
We both stand up immediately straight.
Uh-huh. And as you guys kind of straighten up and both stand at attention, you see Stacy has finally joined the little party. Now, Stacy looks very different from last you saw her. I don't think that you could dye your wings, but for some reason she has different colored, like I was going to try and describe it, but yes, she somehow has gotten her feathers have gotten darker, and she is just not enthusiastic about anything. And as she comes up, she's kind of wearing like she's wearing actual clothes, like human clothes, with just a hole cut out at the top for her wings. And she walks up and is just your mother is first to regard her and is like, and there you are, Stacy. How are you? And Stacy walks up to your mom, gives her a not exactly enthusiastic hug, but she's like, all right, if I don't do this, it's going to cause me more trouble anyway. So it's a hi, Mom. It's good to see you. And then your dad does kind of the same thing that he did for you, but it's not as rough. He just goes up to Stacy and just picks her up and just like, oh, there she is. We've missed all three of you. How's things going? And as he does that, you can see that she doesn't return the hug, but she just lets it happen.
Of course.
And so yeah, she's like Javen said, hit her emo phase.
As is her right.
Mm-hmm. And so after everyone has greeted each other, the guards kind of take a split flanking position around, or not flanking, guard position around the office that you'll be going into, like two on either side, and then one will enter the room with you. And speaking of which, as you finish your hellos, the professor comes out of the room. Oh, good. I see you're all here. Well, let's get things started. We're going to start alphabetically. First up, we have Bucky. And Your Majesties, if you could please enter my office. We'll have a discussion.
Professor, I don't mean to intrude.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, could you please speak with my parents privately for a moment? There's something I must attend to very quickly.
Oh, I suppose yes.
Mom, Dad,
right.
forgive me. There's something I need to take care of real quick. I'll be in as soon as I'm done.
All right. Make it quick. We're sure. You know what? Here, Professor, have you ever heard the story of how I got struck by lightning? And he kind of grabs his arm around her and walks her into her own office.
Right.
Like, let me regale you with the amazing tale.
He's never been the center of, he's never not been the center of attention to any room he's ever walked into. I'm fully aware.
Exactly. So he does that, and kind of your mother is just like, oh, here we go again.
With a reluctant smile.
We spent all this time thinking that Bucky was his #1 fan, but Bucky's dad is in fact his own #1 fan.
Yes.
He is a bard unto himself.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, you're left in the hallway. The two guards are there, but they you usually don't pay them any mind.
Bucky looks to Stacy.
Stacy's sitting in a chair, just kind of not really looking at either one of you.
I stand directly in front of Stacy. I pull out the greatsword that I've been keeping on my belt as a part of my regalia. It would have been a part of my knightly uniform. Or my princely uniform, I'll put it that way.
As you pull out a weapon, you kind of see her make a motion to defend, to make sure that this is not an act of aggression.
I get down on one knee. I get down on the other knee. I take the blade of the sword in one hand, the hilt with my other hand, and open up both blades and offer it to Stacy. I bow my head. I'm sorry, sis. I really am.
The fuck is this? What are you doing?
I want you to have my sword. I won't be needing it like I used to. I'm gonna go a different path. And I've been meaning to apologize to you. I wanted to say you were right.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Let's see. 17 plus 1. And I don't have anything in it, so 17.
You see her stand up. She reaches for the sword. She's not looking at you. She's looking at the sword. And as she's reaching for it, she gets probably a couple inches away from the hilt, and then she kind of closes her hand into a fist, like retracting. Just no. Look, you think that just because you apologize means I have to forgive you. Well, I don't. I don't. I don't want to. Not right now, at least.
You're under no obligation to accept my apology, nor was I fully expecting you to. Regardless, I am sorry for the way I treated you.
She just huffs and does that kind of like, all right. So what? You just that's all you wanted?
As Bucky stands up and looks his sister in the eye, during the semester, I got my friends into trouble. Not the good kind of trouble. The kind of trouble that could have cost them their lives. All because I wanted to play hero. It was the exact thing you were trying to keep me from. Even when we were younger. You saw something I didn't. And because of that, I almost cost my friends. I wish I had only listened to you sooner. You are under no obligation to take the sword. It is here for as long as you want it, and any time you ask of it, it is yours without question. I engraved a particular rune on this sword. It now has the fire rune from the primordials, imbuing it with a certain power.
Oh, okay.
I put a lot of work and a lot of time into this sword. I remember swinging it back when I was younger, thinking I could be just like Dad. But now I know that was the dream of a kid who didn't know anything. And even though his sister tried her best to open his eyes to the world that was around him. He refused to see it. It's why it feels like this sword shouldn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to the person who knew what was really life was about, and who I truly believe should have been the ruler, should be the next ruler. Bucky resheathes the sword. You're under no obligation to accept any of this. I know that one simple apology is not going to fix a lifetime of disagreements and frustrations and rage that we've had at each other. But I wanted to make the first step, and I wanted to let you know you're still my sister. I love you to death, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. I am sorry.
As you're saying that last part, it looks like she's trying to hold something back. And then as soon as you finish up, she is shifting around on her feet, just like, you know what? Fuck you. And punches you, dead arms you, and then walks away. And goes and sits down, not too far away, but just like, she doesn't want to deal with this right now. But it's like,
I made my point.
You made your point. She's got to take time to process this. And
I walk in.
Angst.
I walk into my parents' into the parents' conference, and I completely change my tone.
Your arm is completely dead.
It's fine. I'm not planning on using it anyway. I walk in and I go, so which part have you told him about, Dad? The fact that you got struck or where it was?
You know what? I was gonna leave that part out because you know what? We're in a school. Probably shouldn't exactly. But no, look. It was. You know what? Let's get this done, and then I'll finish after we're done. We'll do the meeting. I'll finish the story after we're done. How's that sound?
You got it, Dad. And I sit down.
You see the professor just kind of like, oh, thank goodness. Your Majesties, if you'll have a seat, I will.
By the way, Ed, I want it to be known that every time I say something super happy, Bucky is lying through his fucking tooth.
Fair.
He is not in a good mood right now.
Okay. That case, make a deception check.
And thanks to the Cloud Rune, I get to make that an advantage. That'd be a 19.
Right. My God. I love this dice and I hate this dice. Well, you were gonna go right there. You don't get words from them, but you get some strange looks from your parents. All right, well, let's see. So far, we have, well, Bucky, you did have a bit of a rough start to the year. We do have a couple of incident reports that we need to talk about. Other than that, you actually have managed to turn everything around and do quite well. That being said, Bucky is making. He has pretty much A average. But it's these incident reports that I'd like to discuss with you today. There was well, I personally, actually, I didn't file an incident report, but there was a third incident. There was not exactly an attack, but some magical mishap, and Bucky was involved with that. Seeing as that was not, he and his friends were quite helpful. They saw fit not to put it on his record, but there was another incident at coffee shop where apparently there was a what I from what I understand, large frogs. Am I understanding that right, Mr. O'Donnell? Or Bucky?
I
Am I getting that
believe
right?
it was toads, but you're on track.
Hmm. Yes. Well, he and his friends did dispatch the toads, and well, they left quite a mess. Uh, the the good news is they did stick around to help clean up, but the fact of the matter is that those toads were not supposed to be anywhere on campus. So we're do you have any idea how they uh, managed to be there?
As far as my understanding, Andraste, sister of a friend of mine, they actually found the frogs and decided to, or toads, and decided to race them. They asked if we
Oh,
would like to join in, and we thought it was interesting. I'll be polite. But in all honesty, didn't have much investment in what they were doing. By the time that we dispatched the frogs, the people who found them had already left. So there went our first lead.
hmm, I see. Yes, it does mention Andraste in the report. She was actually one of the ones that helped dispatch the toads. Uh, well, we will handle that from there. But then there was another incident regarding another food establishment of ours over at Bow's End, the tavern. And you got a tavern here? Dang it, kid! You got to tell me if you've ever been drinking that. So I've got to take you for a drink.
We can
Uh,
do that later, Paul. Let's get through this first, shall we?
yes, Your Majesty. If we could finish this. All right, all right. You know what? Rain check. We'll do that. Well, anyway, there was an incident there where apparently some steam beings uh, were summoned. We're not quite sure who. Bucky, were you aware of who summoned those either?
Unfortunately, in that regard, the summonings happened back in the kitchen area when I was actually out front. By the time
Hmm.
we got back and saw what was happening, we were unable to see who actually summoned them. But I believe it will also say in the report that Alexia was closest to it and was able to identify them fairly quickly. Actually, hearing that somebody else did summon them, or at least hearing that somebody found who summoned them.
Hmm. Oh, yes, it does say that. It also hmm, very curious. It also says that you were quite plastered there, my boy.
You'll have to forgive me. A new friend of ours, Herschel, decided it would be funny if I drank my first pint of beer. Well, lager, as they put it.
As you give me an insight check, just real quick insight check or perception.
I have not rolled badly tonight. Soft 20.
You when you say the name Herschel, you get obviously you get a visible like shiver like just from the professor.
Of course.
But then you notice that um, both of your parents also have the same just kind of look on their face.
I am not happy about that.
um, so yeah. Oh, all right. Well, seeing as how we don't exactly have a drinking age here on campus, which we honestly rather should. These are teenagers, but the drinking is not the problem. The problem is was the fighting. The fight that caused quite a lot of property damage to some of the tavern itself. Your dad pipes up. Oh, you know what? Put it on my. We'll pay for it. We'll pay for it. We'll take care of it. Oh, well, thank you. Very generous. Well, that being said, you do have high marks on most of your classes for now, and a very high recommendation for an apprenticeship with Captain Homily. And then, right there, your dad. You see your mom kind of smile, just a recognition as of an old friend, and your dad is like, "Ah, Sybil, she's working here now. Good for her. Good for her. I didn't think she'd like to come back, but you know what? People surprise you." But yeah, kid. That was one of my. So you'll like her. She's a great girl. Great girl.
Yeah, glad to know she helped you. And I kind of say that with a really twisted smile on my face.
Oh no. We were only like we only ever talked in school. Beyond that, nope. We didn't really get involved in each other's personal lives.
Bucky, again, very deceptively goes, "Oh, right, of course. I think she even said that. My apologies."
Yeah. No, it's yeah. And from there, you know what? Yeah. Go ahead. Take the apprentice program. Or take the apprenticeship. It's a real good fighting coach. Taught me most of what I know, except for never listen to that stuff on discipline. Just the only person I really ever listened to is your mother. And your mom kind of gives him a shoulder slap. Is just uh, uh, all right. Well, I will, Bucky, if you are all right with that, we will give you the paperwork to fill out, and you can return them here later.
Of course. Thank you so much, Teach. I appreciate it.
Teach. I haven't been called that for a while. Uh, well, if that is all I have, if you two have any questions about Bucky, then please. Your mother speaks up. Well, I don't think I have any questions. Darwin? No. It seems Bucky seems pretty straightforward. You're doing well, kid. Doing well. Doing real good. Tell you what, we got two other kids out there that we need to get through. So let's. Yes. Bucky, if you could send your brother in, we'll get started on Reginald.
Bucky gets up, bows to the teacher, bows to its parents again. "I'll be sure to wait for you at the tavern, Pop."
Yeah. I'll be there. I'll be there.
And Bucky walks out the door. As soon as he closes the door, his demeanor changes again. He looks to his brother Reggie. Hey, Reggie.
Yeah.
They're ready for you if you want to go in.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bucky just kind of puts a hand on his brother's shoulder. "It'll be okay in there, all right? Just do your thing. You got this."
Yeah, I know. Are you okay?
It's been a rough couple semesters, Reggie. I'm just glad to see family again. That includes you.
All right. Cool. I'll see you back at the dorm.
Yeah, and we'll talk then, okay?
All right.
With that, Bucky walks by Stacy again, pulls the sword slightly out to show the flaming rune to Stacy, and just kind of holds it. If she still doesn't accept it, he pulls the sword back into the sheath and walks away.
She's pretty much adamantly just not looking at you, just trying not to make eye contact with you.
And I understand, but I still make the gesture.
Mm-hmm. All right. Give me a second. I am having some charger issues here.
Did you take that one out? And I think that's the weird one that you have to plug in to your phone the other way.
All right. Give me a second. There we go. Yep. Okay, that's charging. Okay. So yeah. From there, unless you want to play it out, yeah, you can go over to the tavern. Your dad kind of shows up. You guys have a good laugh. You're probably, from the sound of it, just putting up a facade for him. He can't really tell, but he's just acting as you normally would have had at home.
I don't have any plans to confront my father, at least not currently. It's more that I don't want to worry him with looking towards new avenues that he, not that he necessarily wouldn't approve of, but it's a radical step forward for Bucky, and he doesn't want to scare his parents.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. All right. From there, we're going to go over to Javen.
Sorry, my phone was being very slow to open stuff. Yes, hello.
Hi, you're good. All right. You ready to deal with your mess of a family as well?
Hey now.
You know what? You are fair because of the three of you that have families to deal with. Yours actually is the most, I guess, normal-ish.
We're just diverse. We're a lot of different personalities. We are not a mess, except for Scott.
You are a beautiful mess. You are that beautiful family mess, except for Scott.
Scott is the mess part of it, of that beautiful mess thing.
Yep. The rest of your family is just beautiful.
Yes. We are gorgeous little owlins.
All right. So, yeah, you get over there. You probably walking over with Norm since he's across the hall from you. You are heading over. You meet up with your other three sisters. Your Posey has both of them, Lorraine and Pibbles, by the hand just to make sure that they don't wander off. Lorraine is less likely to wander off, but it's like,
I would say she's probably holding hands with Lorraine. Pibbles doesn't wander off. She's just a little crazy. So she's probably like very quickly, like kind of like how sandpipers move. Very like very quick feet, but like not really moving all that much. She's very small.
Yes. She, you know what? She has a very, very advanced puzzle that kind of keeps her like in one spot that she can focus on.
Beautiful.
Just, like,
keeps her grounded.
Yeah, you usually, it's a puzzle you guys usually give her to kind of like, all right, we need you to focus and stay still.
It's probably like some kind of like common magic item that's like so and so's ever changing cube or something. It's basically just like a Rubik's cube that is constantly changing itself.
Yep.
Well, that would be frustrating.
Pibbles loves it. Pibbles fucking loves it.
She is insistent that she will solve it one day. Even though most people say it is unsolvable, she is insistent. but she will solve it.
You know, to her credit, she got like 4 sides done.
Mm-hmm.
But then, they changed, and then she stopped with it for about 20 minutes, and then she went back to it. But, that's just Pibbles.
That's just Pibbles. So yeah, you meet up with the 3 other ones and start heading over to the main hall. Scott is not exactly anywhere in sight, just as people would like it.
Bernard, to greet his siblings, would just do the generic familial bow that he's trying to instill. Yeah, he's trying to teach Bucky, but occasionally he'll high five Bucky or whatever. But
the only person that doesn't bow is Pibbles, obviously, but she's got her puzzle.
Pibbles probably does look like a brief look up, check surroundings, nod at me, and then go back to her puzzle.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just waiting outside with my siblings. Bernard is back in his armor. He has his shield, his sword, all of it on him. Just kind of set some kind of precedent for what's about to go down. Still hasn't had a chance to kind of truly think about his future. He's just been so wrapped up in what's been happening these past few weeks.
Norm kind of settles up to you as you're walking to the faculty hall to, honestly, where your parents are going to be. And he asks, well, you seem a bit nervous. You all right?
Not nervous, Norm. Just I have a lot on my mind.
Well, if you ever need to talk.
I nod and just kind of put my shield on. I assume we're all kind of sitting down, kind of sitting outside of a principal's office. So I kind of put my shield off to the side and kind of lean it against the seat towards me.
Yeah.
And I kind of just clasp my hands together and just kind of hunch over a little bit as much as I can in armor. And just kind of look down onto the ground and kind of just answer my siblings if I'm spoken to, but otherwise I'm just kind of sticking to myself.
You can hear Norm and Lorraine kind of discussing how to best handle Scott for the moment, whether it's just don't listen to him or to maybe see if they can just send him in first so he can leave first. But
if we could fast track him like that, I would say that we should just let him go first.
As you say that, you see him kind of round the corner of the hall, down the hall, as he approaches the office.
Now, do you want me to describe Scott, or would you like to?
I would like you to describe. You know what? All I know of Scott is the fact that he is a vampire owl. So if you want to describe him any further, that's...
So, he is a vampire owl. But I don't know how much you guys know about vampires, but they have 2 forms. They can go big and poofy, or they can go the slender, kind of intimidating thing. Or they just have their default, which, let me see if I can pull up just a GIF or something. But I will do that as I'm talking. But Scott, unlike the rest of us being dressed in just kind of normal, common clothes, I feel like Scott is the kind of person who basically, as soon as he got here, he spent any money he had sprucing up, I say this in quotes, sprucing up his look. So now he has a full cape with a collar on it. As he not turns the corner, but whips around the corner, kind of right shoulder spinning to kind of flourish the cape as he makes an entrance into this hallway. But he whips his cape and then just started like, kind of like not sashaying, but like regally walking.
He is strutting.
He's strutting with like his kind of like beak up in the air, like kind of like really making a big show of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wings. The only thing like the rest of us that he does is he keeps his wings kind of like on his back, kind of like out of the way and hidden, so as to kind of like make it less so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scott struts to meet up with us. As far as what he does from there, that's up to you. But yeah, he is like vampire owl, very much dressed like in that old kind of Victorian count kind of getup.
Gotcha. Lovely. Love it. He struts down the hallway and comes to a stop in front of you five. He doesn't face you, but then he just turns his head towards you, kind of in like a head tilt. Like you can tell that he is visibly making it look like he is judging all of you. Just gives you that like squinty look, and then he goes back to facing forward, and it's just like a and then walks past. Like if there were a group of chairs assigned to one side of for the office, like there are 6 chairs lined up for kids to sit in, and they are for this office that you're about to go in. He goes to the other side of the office to the chairs that are assigned to the next office down and sits in those. And he's so prim and proper, and he just kind of like sits, legs crossed, dusts off his knees a little bit, and just stares straight forward.
I just kind of keeping my head down, but my eyes kind of following like his feet. I kind of see as he goes and sits down, and Bernard just kind of like smiles, scoffs, and shakes his head, and just keeps looking down.
Well, I would call that a best case scenario. He's just not speaking to us. And he says this kind of leaning over to Lorraine and just in a whisper voice that where only the 3 of you can hear.
I would imagine probably Bernard is probably sitting to the seat closest to the door, followed by Norm, and then the girls, and then Scott is probably like they're the only thing staying between me and Scott is like a closed door, which is on the wall. Like
there is about 3.5 feet of empty space between you, and it's honestly it feels like he's too close.
God, I'm gonna make myself a little saving throw to try and just not fuck with Scott because the urge is so high.
Give me a wisdom save.
Yeah, give me one sec. That's an 8.
Okay. I'm gonna roll a charisma check for him to see if he says anything that sets you off, which will be basically how high the DC is.
Basically anything is gonna set Bernard off. He's had a very rough time.
Oh goodness. Okay. So yes. So he says he kind of just looks over you kind of side eye and just, it's a good thing you're not speaking because otherwise people would have to hear that atrocious stutter of yours.
You can see Bernard just kind of like after once Scott sat down, he kind of like changed his position to like he has his right hand supporting his chin, and his left hand's kind of just like drumming on his on like his leg. And when he says that, Bernard just kind of deep breath in, deep breath out. He gets off of his chair, walks over to Scott, looks up at him, grabs his feet, and whips him out of his chair. Not saying a word, just grab by the ankle, like really quick, just like ankles drag, like enough to where like his head maybe hits the back of the chair or something, but like fully just to the floor.
No check needed, because that is hilarious. You yank him out of his chair as you hear this quick, and there is a small, like, on his way down, there is a small dunk as he hits his head on the back of the seat of the chair, as he takes he takes some damage, clearly not enough to put him down, but he is just like on the floor for a second, and as he's only down there long enough for him to kind of like, what just happened, and then realizes, my brother
kind of like when Hulk grabs Loki and slams him for the first time. He's like,
yes, pretty much. Except this time, your brother takes a second, doesn't do the whole like he realizes, oh, my brother just hurt me. Time to start the pity show. Because at that moment, after you've pulled him out of the chair, you hear your mother around the corner. It's like, all right, where are they? Where are my babies? Where are you?
When I hear that, can I like reflexively like grab the middle of his shirt and try and drag him to his feet in time, just like, get the fuck up.
Give me a strength check.
Okay.
It's gonna be a low DC.
That's a 16.
Yep. You see him about to put on his usual like pity party show, because like that anytime there was any physical aggression towards him at home, he would automatically go like, all right, got to bring the parents into this so they can be like, he's not strong like you guys. You gotta be
100%. 100%. It was every time anything happened to him physically, he's like, Mom! Ah!
Yep.
I've been struck.
Oh, my baby, my darling.
Cool. So my parents around the corner. I grab Scott, pull him to his feet, and right before he starts to like kind of say something, I just kind of like bop him in the gut to like shut him up for like 2 seconds.
You nudge him in the ribs so he knows that if he does anything now, he will get it later, and he just scowls at you.
I smile at my parents.
Yeah, your mother just comes like almost sprinting up to you, like the fastest walk that she could do without fully running. Just like, oh, there they are. There they are. There's my babies. There they are. Come here. Come. Let me see you. Let me see how you've been. I've missed you so much. And
we line up.
Yeah, we all. Would it be a lineup or just a whole huddle of just like an owl, like owls in their nest and just cuddled together?
I would imagine when we were younger, probably that second one. But now that we're like older and kind of like, no, parents are stupid. We're all just like, yeah, Mom, hi, hello.
Okay, so yeah, she just
hi, Mom.
She goes down the line of chairs and she's like, oh, Pibbles, come on, give me a hug. Look away from the puzzle for a second. Give your mother a hug. Okay, thank you. Little Rain, my darling. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You are so beautiful. And then Posy, my brainy girl. You're so beautiful. You're such a sweet girl. Norman, there's my big boy. There is my big precious boy. And
I would say out of everyone, Norm is probably the mama's boy out of everyone. Mm-hmm. He probably, out of all of us, he's probably the only one that like actively hugs her back and like cuddles her and all that.
Yes, he just swallowed her. His size just swallows her up, and just like, oh, hi, mom, I missed you so much. Uh, and then she kind of turns around from his hug and just, Bernard, Bernard, I see you're getting to get along with your brother again. This is very good. This is very good progress. You guys were such a pain in my tuchus at home. Now, you should be good
Stop to
to each
correct
other.
herself.
Hmm?
The stop to correct herself.
Mm-hmm. Such a pain in my tuchus. Now, you now come here. Give your mother a hug. Give me a hug.
I roll my eyes, kind of go up to her, and just kind of do like the one arm, like hi, like yeah, hi. She like wraps her arms around me. I kind of just like yeah, hi, mom.
Mm-hmm. There you are. Okay, thank you. There's my baby. There's my baby. And she just grabs your face and just like smushes it. Just like there's my baby boy. Yes, you are. You are my baby. And like
I
so embarrassing.
outwardly, I am like not moving. I'm just kind of dealing with it. Inside, I'm like, this is nice. I haven't been, I haven't been like a mommed in a while. I guess
Mm-hmm.
this is a nice change.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of look.
For sure. The main thing going through my head while she's like smushing my face is I'm like, I just flunked my tests real hard. This is not gonna last very long.
You kind of look at the side eye and give um you like Scott's not giving a look because he knows he's next. But like you look back down the hall and you see your father just like, yeah, okay. There's Pibbles. It's good to see you. Just pats her on the head. Doesn't disturb her and just kind of does the same thing, but in a little less enthusiastic way. It's just like, oh, it's good to see you. Good, yeah. All right. That's Lorraine. Good. Posey. Norm. Yep. Good to see you. Bernard. Looking sharp there, bud. Looking sharp.
I nod and then I do a bow to him. I feel like Bernard has recently, within like the past couple of years, been keeping it very formal with his father.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that he is a stern man in his own right, Bernard idolizes that and wants to be stern and like hardworking one day like that as well. So he's trying to keep it as formal as possible.
Yeah, good. It's good form. Good form, kid. Just okay. All right. Let's do this. What?
Doesn't even look at Scott. Just like, all right, well,
Just all right.
let's
What
give
are
it a
we
show on the road. Yeah.
Uh,
There's Posey. There's Lorraine. There's Pibbles. Hey, Norm, Bernard, and the other one. All right.
yeah. He's the one that does it in a way of like, all right, we're doing roll call. I'm not saying hello to my children. I am just doing a roll call.
Making sure they're all there and alive.
Yep. Yep. All right. You are going to deal with the same guidance counselor. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Ireland, thank you for coming. It's good to meet you. Oh, no problem. I'm always glad to come here to see my babies. So let's who's first? Which one of you is first? Oh well, we're gonna start alphabetically. Oh, you know what? No. We're gonna do Scott. Scott, let's get you in there. Let's yeah, we're doing Scott first. Oh, that's perfectly fine. Your mother, as the powerhouse she is, just kind of takes over the entire parent conference and ushers Scott in first. You guys are kind of sitting there doing what you were doing before they all showed up, just keeping busy or not really doing anything.
Once Scott is in there, I look at Norm. Like once my parents and Scott are all inside, I look at Norm and I just go, you know, I really needed to just. That was very satisfying, and I point to where Scott was sitting.
That was actually like very very cool. I'm glad it was you that did it, because if mom and dad caught any of us doing it, I'm sure we would have heard it. But I'm glad that happened to him. Not gonna lie.
I nod, smile, and feel a little better.
All right. Well, you think if we listen at the door, we can actually hear how the conference is going?
Kind of raise my eyebrows and nod, and just kind of like slowly but surely like kind of lean near the door.
Norm goes in at the same time as you simultaneously like pick different spots on the door. Norm is probably about 2 feet above you where you are. And you hear you don't hear words, but you kind of hear tones where it's like you hear the Professor Sharpbeak speaking. Not a lot from your parents right now, and then as soon as like a couple minutes go by of Sharpbeak speaking, and then you hear your parents speaking, and you can't tell who they're talking to, and then you hear a shout of, well, you know what? Maybe I don't even want to be here anyway. Maybe it's just I'm gonna like leave here, and you're never gonna see me again. And like you're hearing this kind of progressively getting louder, like he is approaching the door.
I rush back to my chair.
The door quickly opens, and no check, because we're just gonna go past this. You hear Scott just like swing open the door and just like, I hate you all, and I never want to speak to any of you again. And just again strutting, like this is just a show for him, just strutting, and his cape like billowing behind him as he goes down the hall. Like
Can I make an insight check to see if he's gonna cry later?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so that's an 18 for insight check. Not specifically on if he's gonna cry later, but like I'm trying to keep in mind, like, is he actually hurting, or is this just an act of aggression?
This is a show for him. This is
Okay.
all
Well,
a show for him.
yeah. Fuck him.
Mm-hmm.
He'll sort it out.
Yeah. This was not like, sure, he probably didn't do well, but it's like it didn't merit the response. And so this is all just a show.
Knowing him, they probably just told him that he needs to seek tutoring like me, and he just fucking lost it for no reason.
Yep.
Kicked out of his drama club.
He did. He did get kicked out of his drama club.
Loser. Anyway.
Anyway.
How the fuck do you get kicked out of drama?
When you fail the rest of your school. Anyway, you behind you hear, all right, he's just blowing off some steam. All right, Bernard, let's do this.
Yep, I hop down, pick my shield up, go into the room.
Mm-hmm. You go in, have a seat. All right, Bernard, well, you had a very good start to the year, and as far as your grades were back when you first started, they were, well, they weren't as high as they could, but you breezed past your first exam. Unfortunately, it seems here that you did fail the most recent ones. As a result, he has been removed from the Silkball team. Oh, you joined Silkball? Good for you. No, he's not on the team anymore. He also is receiving tutoring as well. Will you make sure that he doesn't get the same tutor as Scott? Just give Scott, like, I don't know. Do you have like rankings? Just you know what? I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. I'm not the teacher. Well, yes, you're not the teacher. But anyway, um, if well,
Can I make some sort of check to see if this guy actually knows what he's doing or if he's just winging it?
this is sorry. The incompetent sounding just now was me realizing that I bumped my charger out of my phone and my phone is about to die. Not.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Well, yes. We will assign. I will make sure at least assign different tutors to them. I don't want to purposely flunk a student and say I should. You know what? He's a drama queen at home, and maybe he needs the wake up call.
If I may, please don't give me the same tutor Bucky had.
Are you speaking of Bucky O'Donnell, the prince?
Yes, but Bucky had a tutor from was he second year, Ed?
The tutor was a fourth year. She was the reason that she wasn't doing well with Bucky was because she had just signed up for the program as a easy grade, easy credits.
Gotcha. So I definitely bring that up with this guy. And I'm like, yeah, didn't catch her name, but she was a fourth year from and then I give the counselor as much info as I possibly can about this useless fourth year.
Hmm. Well, without giving away too much personal information, it seems that she's going through like different files. Yes. Yes, this. I have a name here. Yes, it does seem that there are quite a few complaints of lack of not performing to her tasks. Well, yes, I will have a talk with her and see if she can't be removed from the system. We can't have students purposely failing other students. But yes, I will make sure that you get a very good tutor, and one that's not the same as your brother's.
I mean, it could be the same tutor as my siblings. I don't really mind that much, but I just like to point out incompetence when I see it.
Thank you very much. That definitely helps. So we don't want to ruining other students' grades, especially yours, as someone as promising as yourself. Um, well, also speaking of which, we did a letter from well, a letter of recommendation for retaking the exams due to extenuating circumstances. Captain Honnelly has written a letter that says that you are helping out other students with their assignment and thus couldn't properly prepare for the exam. Is this true?
I squint, and then I squint. I reach my hand out and I go, can I read it?
I don't see why not. Yes.
And is that basically exactly what it says? I kind of like put my reading glasses on, and then I just kind of.
You do that old man thing of like, all right, you do the shaking of the paper a couple times, just put your glasses on gingerly. All right, let's read this shit.
Much like the image that I sent a while ago, he has those two little like half moon spectacles that he puts on the end of his beak.
Yep. Yeah, you read a letter that states, due to the fact that Bernard was helping a student of hers with their semester assignments, and seeing as how this other student aced his exams, it didn't seem fair that someone who was distracted helping others should suffer with their own studies, and through her own actions may have also caused a how would she put it? May have caused you to suffer in your studies as well.
Kind of roll it back up and give it to the counselor and take my reading glasses off, and I just kind of sit back in my chair.
Well,
and I go, if it gets me another chance to take the exams, then yes, that's true.
all right. Do you wish to take the exams again? And they are rigorous ones, but I'm sure we can have Professor Lang adjust it so that it's a different test a little bit.
No, keep it the same test. Don't need pity. I just need another shot.
Sometimes all you need is a second chance. Well, given that, we will have you take the exam tomorrow, just so that we can have the semester grades taken care of as soon as possible. Other than that, well, we do have some incident reports to go over. What would they involve? What was he involved in this? No. There was a small incident with some frogs at our coffee tavern. Can you explain how those frogs got there, Mr. Harley? Mr. Bernard?
The frogs?
Yes, that's the one thing that we've been trying to figure out is how those frogs got there.
I couldn't tell you.
Hmm.
I was there to have fun with my friends and watch some frogs race.
Hmm.
Then the next thing we knew, the race ended, and I'm fully inside of a frog's mouth.
Oh my! Oh, that is quite unfortunate.
Yes, this is not the first incident of combat on this campus.
Also, when you say you were in the frog's mouth, it's like, wait, you got swallowed by the giant. What is going on here with this school that my baby is getting swallowed by frogs? I can assure you, madam, that this is a fluke, and we are doing our best to research this. I don't, and like your mom kind of gives like a huff of like, well, I don't think you actually are. Well,
Did you tell them about the mimic on our first day?
there was a mimic. When did you fight? When did you deal with a mimic? Did you get hurt, babe? Did you get hurt?
No, in fact, I killed it.
Oh, well, you know what? That's wonderful. You killed a mimic. That is absolutely wonderful. Yes, he handled the mimic that was honestly not in your incident report. Um, but there was another one that involved some steam methods. Can you maybe elaborate on how those came about the campus?
Now, this is me, Javen. I remember the steam method fight. I remember next to nothing about how it started.
You were. Let's see. You were. I want to say you were out with Bucky, because it was Alexi and Herschel that first entered the bar, and then it was you and Bucky, and there was Kai and Leslie after that. Um, so you were dealing with helping Bucky get to the get back into the bar.
Oh, wait, was that the fight where I had like an initiative 3 and I waited for everything else to happen? I'm just like, oh, we're fighting.
That was the one where you climbed over the counter. So I
Yes.
think yes, I think
Okay.
you had an initiative of 3.
Okay, wait, no, that was during Yavanish's party, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would go through the story of how we were having a get together for my friend Yavanish, my friend and captain. And then I'll just describe from Bernard's point of view what all went down.
Okay. Oh, well, that still does not shed any light on where these things came from. Well, then, other than that, we will issue the exam again tomorrow. Please meet back at the lecture hall, uh, and we will see how that goes.
You got it.
All right. If you could send in your, let's see, which was, I'm whichever one of your siblings would. I think Norm would be the next one alphabetically.
Lorraine.
It would be Lorraine next.
If you could send in your sister Lorraine, that would be wonderful.
I nod, hop down, give polite bows to all of them, head out, and send in the scary sister.
You kind of just escort her to the door and just like push her in. And
nicer. I'm nicer than that, but yeah,
Are you gently nudge her in? Is just like, okay, come on, Lorraine. It's like you're doing the same thing that you were doing when you were guiding her through the biblioplex. Like, all right, come on, another step. And Norm kind of gets up and is like, oh, you know what? I will. Come on, Lorraine. It's all right. Let's focus up. Come on, Lorraine.
All right. And then once she gets in there, I would look at the rest of my siblings, bow to them, and go, I have studying to do. I'm retaking my exams tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I nod. Yeah, and then I go off and I study.
All right. We will roll through those again. I'm not going to make you do a study phase, but I will give you the 2 rerolls.
We can do that later. Let's just go ahead and move on to
Kai.
to K. Yeah, to Kai, and then we'll.
All right.
Yeah, because I've taken up a fat amount of time here.
Yeah, it's we're getting there. You ready?
Yep. Ugh.
All right. Ugh. Kai, you are heading to your parent-teacher conference.
Yeah.
You get to the office building, and you see. Well, first thing you see is a summer Eladrin who has sunglasses on and is nursing a coffee.
Rough night.
What? Oh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. It was a fun night. It just wasn't. It's a rough morning. All right. Let's. I mean, let's go deal with them.
You seem like you're so excited.
I mean, are you excited to see him?
Dad doesn't give a shit about me, so
because Dad never aimed his ire at you.
That's because I saw what he did to you.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's get in there. And you and your sister head inside. You get in there, and your father and mother are already there.
Of course, always early.
Your father is standing, and your mother is in a seat. And as you approach, your father doesn't move, just looks over, and then looks back to whatever it was he was looking at. And your mother kind of gets up. Hi. It's good to see you girls. Hi.
Hey, Mom.
That's all right. Hey, Mom. Andraste, are you all right? No, I'm fine, Mom. I'm fine. I'm fine and fine. Fine. I just don't need. You look like you. Andraste, I know that look. Tell me, are you drinking at school? No, Mom. I'm not drinking. I'm not. I'm.
Don't look at me. This is your problem.
Kai, is she drinking at school?
Occasionally.
You get a side slap from.
Hey.
You could.
You're the one that makes the choices. You have to deal with the consequences.
Your mother just kind of looks at Andraste. We're going to talk about this later, young lady. And Andraste just kind of like, ugh. And she escorts you both to sit down. It's like, all right, come on, let's do this. You get another guidance counselor. This one is a human male. And before he can get a word in, your father just kind of turns around, faces him, and is like, you can leave. Give me the files and you can leave. And with
what?
That, the man goes, excuse me, sir, but I don't know what you think you are doing, but you are not going to tell me what to do. That's you're not whatever power you have in whatever world it is that you're from doesn't work here. And with that, Andraste, you can hear Andraste kind of like as your father just shoots a look at her. Mm-hmm. And the human male who hasn't introduced himself yet is kind of he's dark haired, kind of a stubble look. He's got his hair's kind of going salt and peppery.
Patrick Dempsey. Like McSteamy rather than McCreamy.
He looks actually a little bit more. Honestly, I don't know any actors that would be.
Look like my Uncle Rob.
No, he actually looks a little bit more Hispanic than that. Darker skin, a little bit rough looking skin.
So John Stamos.
If John Stamos were like legitimately Hispanic. But yeah, you also see that his sleeves are rolled up, and he's got different languages of runes.
Banner, don't lick the phone.
He's got different languages of runes all up, tattooed along his arms, and if you can venture a guess that it's probably on a good portion of his body. But yeah, he is very fit, very dark skinned. Not very dark, but he's definitely tanned. salt and peppery. With that, he just your father gestures and asks, like, gestures for the guidance counselor to go back into the office. Your father looks at Andraste, doesn't speak, just kind of does a 2-finger just up.
I kind of grab her hand and just kind of squeeze it like, look.
She squeezes it back and just like, well, depending on how yours go, we can go get drinks later if you need. And walks into the office with your mother. And you're left in the hall. You usually are when Andraste is being lectured.
It's out pen and quill. Bored, one up, and sends it in 5 different directions.
You know what? For time's sake, you're not gonna be able to get that message out. Just like, Banner, hush. We'll just say that there's kind of an anti-sending spell around the building during conferences. So your message just doesn't get out. It'll probably send again when you leave the building, but
dead zone.
Yeah. So yeah, you're just alone until Andraste.
Get out one of my spare notebooks and just start doodling runes and like spells.
Banner, shush. Tell me, what's one of the newest spells that you took as your level up? I believe that one is mine. Yours is. That is your handbook.
So is my handbook. My. So. Yeah, it's one of those. I want to read it again, so that way I can like. Be slightly better with combat. So Melf's acid arrow.
Okay. So you begin doing that thing when you're bored of what, like, you go into your spells. You start looking at your spell book. You found this spell earlier, but you've never been able to really successfully cast it. And so you're just kind of doodling runes, and you realize, this kind of might work a little bit. And you have like this weird inspiration of like, all right, if I do the vocal, semantic, and material. You take out the materials that you need for it, and you just kind of like you go to create the arrow in your hand, and it like begins to form. And you're like, all right, don't fall apart, don't fall apart, don't fall apart, don't fall apart. And as you were like wishing for it to not fall apart, it doesn't. You have the arrow in your hand.
Shit.
But now this means you've got to fire it.
Fuck. Didn't think this through.
And as you're panicking, being like, oh shit, I have the arrow, the door to the office opens up, and you hear shouting from inside, and there is a bit of just a whoop, as an acid arrow flies across the hall, hits a chair, and dissolves a hole right through the seat. You see Andraste has watched this entire thing happen. Whoop. You know what? I'm gone. I'm leaving because you are not leaving this meeting, young lady. You know what? I am leaving, and you can just suck it. And starts walking off. Get back here now.
I may have gotten into like 3 fights already this year, Dad.
Not now. Not now. Andraste! And she's still marching down the hall. And from behind you, like he's not chasing after her. He doesn't do any of that chasing. It's like he knows that if he does that, it's just going to get her what she wants. And so he just stands there expecting her to obey his orders when your mother and the guidance counselor comes out, and your mother just goes, all right, well, I do have another daughter that we are here for, so maybe we should take care of her.
See myself in.
Yeah. The guidance counselor. Yeah. Come in. Seems your father is a bit busy with. So maybe we'll just. How about your mom and you? We'll just do this because your father is seriously just
standing outside the door,
standing outside in the hallway, waiting for Andraste to come back, which she won't.
The only woman brave enough to walk out on him.
All right. Well, thank you both for being here, I suppose. Not that this is kind of a mandatory thing. My name is Professor Mills. I am the disciplinary handler here. Seeing as how, as I said, when we were with your other daughter, we'd had a few incidents including both of them, that we would like to discuss. That we got to any of the incidences with the other daughter, but
can I just say that I was here at the wrong place, the wrong place, the wrong time?
Let's start at the beginning. There was an incident in the first day of school with a mimic. Care to explain what happened there?
Mimic showed up. My new friends were like, hey, let's fight the mimic. I wasn't going to leave. I didn't even do anything. I cast mage armor on myself, and then I went down. Like, I did nothing. Nothing.
All right.
Outside of cast mage armor. That was it.
Well, first combats don't always go the way we plan.
And it's not like I released the mimic either. I don't know who did. I'm trying to figure that out. Or maybe not. Do you know? Was it like a school thing?
No, it wasn't a school thing. That's why I'm investigating it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you were there. Let's move on to the next incident. The one in Fire Jolts with several frogs. Your sister, we have established that your sister was involved, but she refuses to say anything about it.
She said that they found the frogs. I don't know. I didn't want to do anything. But my lovable yet idiotic friend was like, fine, I'll race a frog. So we went over there, and I gave them words of encouragement. And I think we won.
regardless of whether you won or not.
Well, but then they turned like big and weird, and like it looked like they were kind of like they had like similar things to the mimics. So you should really like figure out who's poisoning your shit around here. So much.
This counselor has an existential crisis as he realizes that he's dealing with two sassy young ladies. All right. Anyway, the incident at Bow's End. Some steam methods.
I mean, I was in the courtyard when they showed up, but my friends called for help, and I figured that I should probably go in and help and see what was going on. I don't want to see other people get hurt.
My question about the incident is actually from a statement from the chef there, Curdy, who saw you and another student who we are still talking to investigating a cauldron and take something from the cauldron.
So you know how I was talking to you about the toads and the mimic?
Mm-hmm.
There was a similar sludge, if you will.
Sludge?
Ooze. I don't know.
Do you have any of it?
I mean, I could talk to my friends, see if we still have stuff. We were kind of running some tests to try to figure it out. But I'll be happy to give you guys some of it, like, if as long as, like, we didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk to her about it.
Cool.
That said, we are also here to talk about your academic progress.
I think I'm doing pretty well for 6 classes and an extracurricular.
Surprisingly, yes, you are. Now, normally we don't allow students to sign up for more than 4 classes plus their assigned class. But for some reason, Professor Sharpbeak has decided that it was all right to give a first year 6 classes.
I have lots of opportunities. So I want to see which one really fits with me.
And that is fair, which is why we usually give the 5 classes, so you can sign up for one of each of the colleges.
Well, see, like, magic physiology is like goes with all of them. So like that kind of is like umbrella. So you don't really get to experience all of it.
Young man, we're not here to discuss the school's class assignment policy.
I'm saying I think I could really help you guys out and develop a better curriculum.
Young lady, you are also a 16-year-old girl. No offense, but you're not qualified.
Not yet.
So, Fandris, do you have any questions for me? No. I'm just realizing that my daughter has exceeded my expectations.
Kind of see, like, my green gets a little bit brighter green.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, they get a little spark and, like, sit up a little bit straighter. And, like, kind of start playing with my hair.
All right. Well, seeing as your husband has not rejoined us, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is wrapped up. I do have a lot of other students to get to. It was a good meeting you. And if there is anything else happens, please come see me. If you find any more of that ooze, any other incidents, in fact, please do your best to avoid the incident. Last thing we need is for students to get hurt on campus.
Valid. So, like, before I engage, can I send you just, like, a quick message and then, like, hope to, like, have you miss you stuff there?
I would not message myself directly. I may not necessarily be there all the time, but I would
like me to message?
Just find a faculty member. Find the nearest faculty member and have them handle the situation.
I tried that last time with the frogs.
That was actually very smart. So you should keep doing that. Wow. Down here.
Me with you. I'm talking with you.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, should we go find Andraste and probably just leave Dad here for a little bit?
Your school has a bar.
Yes. Probably where she is.
That's probably where she is. Go see.
Cool.
And with that, you leave with your mother. You get out the hallway door. Your father is still standing in the hallway with his hands on his, fists on his hip.
And it's like, she's not coming.
No. She will listen. She knows what's good for her. The longer she makes me wait, the more trouble she will be in.
And that's worked so well for you. And that was under the breath. Mom probably just heard it.
You hear a small snicker as you say that. And so from there, you and your mom go and find your sister at Bow's End. We will do that separately or next time, but for now, I think now is right there is a good place to wrap up.
Yes.
Gio, you can go ahead and stop the recording.
All right. And